It was a cool autumn evening on the island of Sodor. The sun was just beginning to set. The engines were finishing their work and returning to their sheds, and a thick fog began to roll in. James had just finished his last train and was heading down the main line for home. He and his driver could hardly see a thing through the fog. As such, they didn't immediately notice the points were directed to an old, unused track.
Oh, bother. What silly things points are. I don't even recognize this line.
Calm down, James. We'll go back and set it right.
Well, good. Why doesn't the Fact Controller get rid of these discuss?
Everything okay, James?
But as James came to a stop, his crew saw what made him pause. On the side of the line sat an old scrap engine, rusted and forgotten. Now, the scrapped remains of engines from long ago was a common sight on the railway, but this one was different, and it nearly made James sick. It was cut mid-sagittal, clean straight through the middle without fault, and all of its parts still there within the dead engine. Its other half was nowhere to be seen.
What sick weirdo would scrap an engine like that?
No idea.
I don't want to find out. Get me out of here!
At Titmouth Sheds, the engines all stared at James. He was unusually quiet and looked very pale. Gordon soon broke the silence.
If I didn't know any better, which is quite rare, I'd say poor little James has seen a ghost.
He began to laugh, as did the others, save for Edward.
Well, I did see something.
What was it? Has Gator come back to scare you again?
I saw a scrap engine.
That's it. I understand it is rather distressing to see those poor souls, but you've seen them plenty of times, James, and have never looked this shocked about it.
This one was different.
And he told the others all about what he saw. Everyone went silent now.
You must have seen a victim of the half-engine.
I do not need your teasing, Thomas.
I'm not teasing. I know why that engine is like that.
Edward, who had known Thomas for far long, recognized he was being serious.
Go on then, Thomas. Tell us.
A long time ago, before the Northwestern Railway was an established company, there was an engine who was brought to help build the railway, along with myself and a few others. The engine was different, to say the least. Something very horrible went wrong with her construction. She only had half of her face, the other half being her smoke box door. We could barely understand what she was trying to say, and maintenance on her was a nightmare to watch and listen. And through all of this, she was in immense, excruciating pain. Her cries and wails for the pain to go away were so horrid that me and a few other engines could hardly bear the stomach of it. But the nasty of us, even some of the crew, thought it was a funny joke. This would all boil up inside of her, and one day, she changed for the worse. Her behavior became more violent, and she would berate even those who felt pity for her, snarling and growling in anger. To make things even more worse, she would always venture out of the sheds and down a heavily forested line, coming back and talking of nothing but of how we were all to perish in her grabbled, barely identifiable speech. Some of us, including myself, began to believe that she had become possessed in all of her suffering, seeking any way to be rid of her deformity. Even the fat controller at the time had enough and had ordered an engine to take her away to be scrapped. At the same time, me and another engine were heading home from work. As we made our way down the line, we could see smoke from the same direction as the scrapyard and the sounds of fire engines. We rushed over to see what had happened, and it's a sight that I'll never forget. And now it appears her spirit still roams around.
Everyone at the sheds was deeply disturbed by Thomas's story. Everyone, that is, except Gordon.
Puh! You all truly believe in cheeky little Thomas's story? James, what you saw was likely not as strange as you think. The fog could have made you think it was cut so strangely.
Gordon, I'm serious! The half engine is too real to joke around about!
Of course she is, just like every other tall tale you've told.
And with that, Gordon went into his shed to sleep, and one by one, all the other engines followed suit. But they found it very hard to sleep that night, in fear that the half engine was around. The next night, Gordon was making his way home with some empty coaches after his last train of the day. Once again, the fog rolled in, and it was thicker than the night before. But Gordon continued on, and although he didn't believe in the half engine, Thomas's story still ran through his mind.
Thomas has always been a cheeky little trickster.
Just then, they saw a red signal. Gordon slowly came to a stop. He was very confused.
That's strange. No other train should be passing by at this time.
He, the guard, and the fireman decided to walk to the next signal box to see if everything was okay.
Who's there?
Gordon! 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 Gordon, are you okay? What happened?
Half engine. Thomas was right.
Now, how did this happen?
Gordon, can you tell us? What's that about a half engine?
Nothing.
All of the crew simply put it off as faulty construction, but Gordon knew exactly what happened. He remained silent as he was uncoupled from the coaches and brought home, unsure how to tell anyone what he had witnessed. He felt sorry for teasing James, he felt sorry for not believing Thomas, and more importantly, he felt sorry for ever denying the existence of the half engine.